In that yard.
It's not time yet? Good morning and welcome to our August the 4th, 2026 regular council meeting. The town of Rocky Mountain House acknowledges that the people who came before us on this land. Before we adopt the agenda, just like to remind everybody that there's only 153 more shopping days till Christmas. Now, can I get an agenda? Anybody have any additions or deletions? Can I get some of the motion? Councilor Shipple.
Thank you, Mayor Bonifaz. Also move the agenda as presented.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. We do have a delegation today from the Roots Resilient Charter Schools. Welcome, and please come sit up here in the chairs. And to speak, you have to push the little button in front of you for the microphone, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tegan Fandrick. I was born, well, not born, but raised in Rocky Mountain House. I am excited to be here today to represent the Roots of Resilience Charter School as a board member. I am local, and today I am excited to announce that I want to come home and I want to pursue this. This is education that is really meaningful. This is education that is rooted in Indigenous identity and culture. And I have experienced the public school system as a child here, but also have worked in it. And I believe this is something that is needed in this community. We also have local elders who are from the territories of Bighorn and Ochese who are in support of this. And yeah, so I'll pass it on to Charlene.
She did not use her 5 minutes. I said to Tegan, you're the community member, you're the local, I am a visitor here, so you set the stage. But Abash Dado Popin Shawi and Migebi, my name's Charlene Bearhead. I also ended up going home. I don't know what it is about going home. I was born and raised in Drayton Valley, actually, and was gone for 44 years. And ended up back home and thought that I went back home because my dad had passed away and my mom was there, and I'm the oldest girl, so we all know what that means. But I believe that there was maybe more to it, and that's where we actually started Roots of Resilience Charter School. I too was involved. Education has been my whole career. And I'm old, so that spans a lot of things. And actually hadn't been in the classroom and in schools and administration for quite a few years. I worked for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the National Inquiry in Education. Was at Canadian Geographic for 6 years, and then was on the board of a local school division, and I couldn't watch anymore. I think that it's always important to have choice for parents and children. And I'll say right now that Roots of Resilience Charter School isn't for everybody, but there's nothing that's a one size fits all that fits for everyone, but we think it's important to offer choice. I am a guest here. I would not be going into someone else's community and saying, this is what you need. We have no interest in that, but when we have invitation and encouragement and actually having people say to us, hey, can we do this in our community as well? It is not easy to get approval from the minister for a charter school, and it shouldn't be. It's the future of and the present of people's children. You have people's children's lives in your hands. So I actually started the only other Indigenous focused charter school that ever existed in the country, and didn't know that there wasn't another one since. In Wadman 25 years ago, when my kids were little, and I said I would never do it again because it's a life-consuming process. But now I have grandchildren, so here we are. I have to tell you that we wouldn't go to that kind of work for something that we hoped might be okay. We knew that this was going to be an approach that was going to be very positive and have positive impacts in the community. I have to tell you, I did not expect after 1 year that we would see the impacts that we had in such a short period of time on students and families and the community. Tegan said she didn't sleep last night. I told her that's okay, because when I was going to put myself out there in my own home community, I didn't sleep the night before either. But it's important, and we can stand a little bit of discomfort if not everybody understands what that is, if it means positive change for a child, never mind multiple children. So it's an Indigenous focused charter school. It is a public school. Lots of people don't understand, most people don't understand that charter schools are public schools. These are not American-style charter schools that are basically private schools. In Alberta, which is the only jurisdiction in the country that has provision for charter schools are public schools that are intended to be model schools that work with other school divisions that could learn something about this particular approach. Wolf Creek School Division is actually already partnering with us to take a look at what they could do that might be beneficial in their own school division. And in fact, we're collaborating on an Indigenous-focused math framework for K-12. It's not culture camp. It's a school. People think sometimes that if it's an Indigenous-focused school, that means that we're going to have a powwow like 10 times a year, or Indigenous focused, and really that approach that the elders have taught. And by the way, I'm non-Indigenous. My husband is First Nation, my children, my grandchildren are Indigenous. That does not make me an Indigenous expert. But I know that it's an approach that works for many children. You don't have to be Indigenous for this to work. It's really focused around the whole human being. And what I've tried to push in my other work nationally in every province and territory is, if we look after the real human being, if we value children, if we see them, if we look at their strengths and their gifts, they're going to be successful academically. If all we do is hammer academics and not look at the human being, we're not going to be successful in any area. So that's our focus. Interestingly, I asked our elders, because as Tegan indicated, we actually have an elder circle that guides, and we have elders from Ochis, from Bighorn, from here in town, Alexis, Paul, and Métis elders as well in the Drayton and Rock area. And I said to the elders when we were hoping to start the one in Drayton, I said, so what if we have non-Indigenous kids that their parents want them to come to the school? And I was hoping this was the answer, because it would be the answer for me. And they said, of course we would take all children. I was actually surprised in my own home community, not to have doubts about my home community, but I was actually surprised how many non-Indigenous parents brought their children to our school. And when I said to them, so you do understand this is an Indigenous-focused school. So it's very much about land-based learning, hands-on, interactive, connecting to the land. We're not trying to recruit kids to be Indigenous. We saw how that worked the other direction with residential schools. We're not interested in that. But we want all children to see who they are and whatever their heritage is, and to understand it doesn't matter what your culture is or what your heritage is. There's a good way to live on the land here where we are and look after things in a good way. 40% of our students last year were non-Indigenous. When parents came and I explained that to them, they actually, in every case, said, yeah, that's cool. Where else would my kids get a chance to learn that as well? So academics is important. We don't water that down. These are our kids too. Whether it's our grandchildren, it's our kids in our community, we want them to be as successful as possible. So in our first year, we had 2 graduates, which was very exciting. We had 2 grade 12 students that came, were K-12. They had received 5 credits and 10 credits respectively in the full year before in an outreach program, and they graduated this year. One had 122 credits and one had 116 credits. So we're not the all end all, we're not the answer, but if we're the answer for some kids and families, we're happy to be a school of choice. This is the first place we've talked about this publicly, because out of respect, we're not going to come to your town and start talking to people about something that we would like to do here without not only the courtesy of speaking to you, having you ask us questions, but also we would really love a letter of support that states that if you feel like it's appropriate, that the Rocky Mountain House Town Council supports choice in education and welcomes us to give it our best shot. I think that's about it. Shanice Pinamat.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your presentation. I'm sure there's a few questions. What grades will your school encompass then? Like you just said, you had some grade 12, so is this a kindergarten to 12 kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're K to 12, and the way we did that, sort of the typical, is this is what we offer, these are the courses, and this is what's happening. We got the list of all of our students. So in our first year, and I should have said that when we applied to the ministry, you have to do a 5-year projection. So we said we'll have 60 students in grade 1, in year 1, and then we thought, okay, when people see it's legit, because it's a bit scary to put your kids in a school that's never existed before. We thought, oh, we'll see a little bump, 80 in year 2, 90, 100, and 110 by year 5. We had 71 students last year. We've got 146 students this year. And we've had to turn over 30 students away because we don't have the space. So last year we had a K1-2 split, we had a 2-3-4 split class, and we had a 5-6 split, a 7-8 split, and then we had a high school class. And this year we have a full class of every grade other than high school. We've got them combined. We're not here to take over the world, and we have 16 students in a class is what we peak at, because we know the children need that attention. People ask us, where do you get all your money? We get the same amount of money as everybody else has, we just have different priorities, and it's about where you spend it. So I'm gonna say right now, we would be open to, and we would say K to 12, if we find that, we end up with, 80 kids, or whatever the case might be, from K to 6, whatever, the parents that show up, and with their children that say this is what's good for us, then we build that program around that, and then it will grow over time.
What is the location of your school?
At this point, Rocky Mountain House.
But like
Like a facility?
building-wise, where do you?
Yeah, so we have to, that's one of the things we're doing after this, is looking at potential facilities. We will be putting in the notice to the ministry on September 15th. So we actually wouldn't open until September of 2027. We got our approval from the minister on the 5th of June, 2025, and we opened September 2nd, 2025. So it's a little bit crazy. We're gonna be looking at different, like what's available in town. And you gotta start somewhere, and we'll find the best possible solution and make it work.
Good. Well, I think this is a wonderful idea, so congratulations. I can imagine it's an enormous amount of work that you're undertaking, but you're doing it for all the right reasons. And so thank you for what you are bringing to our community, and really appreciate that. Anyone else have any further questions? No? Then I'd like to, I'm sorry, Councilor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. Charlene, you mentioned some impacts that you've noticed in the Drayton Valley School. I wonder if you're able to share any of those with us? I'm sorry if...
I would love to see you guys looking at me going, okay, here we go, it's gonna be half an hour, and she's gonna cry, and then things are gonna happen. I'm not gonna cry. So, I'll give you a few high points, because there's been so many. One of the things that just came to mind now is at our school council. So I don't know if anybody else here has been on school councils, parent councils at your kid's school, and and you go and you're like one of 3 people that shows up, right? And you do all the heavy lifting. We have huge numbers of parents because they chose it. But I remember in one school council meeting, we have a dad that he works hard. He works for an oil field company. He's busy all the time. He has 3 kids in the school. And we all say, what other dad, maybe the people in here, probably wouldn't be me, what other dad do you know that every time it gets rained out, he's at the school volunteering? He helps in the kitchen, he helps in his kids' classes, he cleans fish, because we do a lot of like kids go fishing and they clean their fish and they cook and all of those things. And somebody said that in a parent council meeting, and he said, well, yeah, I didn't go to the other schools because I hated them. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad you're here. One of our 2 graduates, well, both of our graduates, so the young man that graduated was 18 already. I didn't know him, but I knew of him from being on the board, where he went to the school. Super quiet, never talked, really withdrawn. His mom was like, oh my God, this kid's got to graduate. he became a real leader in our school. He decided he would be the valedictorian, which stressed the heck out of him. He ended up being our rep for our school on the town youth council. And his mom cried at the parent-teacher interview, and she said, "I can't believe you don't know you've changed his life. You make him feel like he belongs." And I was remember, see, this is what makes me cry. And I said, "No, we didn't. We don't make. See, let's just talk about this. Sorry, I said, we don't make him feel like a leader. He is a leader. We don't make him feel like he belongs here. He does belong here." The girl that graduated came in. Her younger siblings were registered. Her mom brought her in last September, about the middle of September. And she comes in, and she's stressed, and she's upset, and her hair's dyed pink. She's got like these ripped up jeans and this like ripped up crop top, and she's crying, and she's like, "I don't want to go to school. These people are gonna hate me." And I said to her, "Just relax. Like, if you don't want to go to school, don't go to school. Like, we're not here so that you can be stressed. We're here to help. You know, if you think this will be helpful." So she calmed down a little bit. We started to talk. She said, "Well, what's your dress code?" And I said, "You have to wear clothes." And she said, "So you're going to tell me that if I came to school like this, you would let me come to school?" I said, "You know what, as long as you don't have anything," I'm just being honest, as long as you don't have anything private hanging out, I couldn't care less what you wear. I want you to be here. I want you to learn. She was there with us for an hour and a half. I had the high school English teacher come and talk to her a little bit because I had to go and give another family a tour. And when I came back in, she said, "Okay, can I go home and change before I start?" And she started that day, and she was 16. She was turning 17 in November. And she said, "But I got to graduate this year." I said, "Okay, well, I guess you're going to have to work really hard then." I didn't tell her. I thought, "Oh, graduating this year, you're 16, you're fine." She came back to school the next day with black hair, dyed black hair. She did her work experience by the end of the year as an EA in our school, and she graduated and made me have to rethink my thing. And she's actually she's going in with Northern Lakes College now to go into nursing, like nurse practitioner. And I'll just hit like these other three little boys that all ended up in one class. Sometimes all the excitement, Tegan knows this, it ends up in one class. And two of the little boys, that was grade 5. One of them hadn't been in school since Christmas the year before, in grade 5, because he's like significant OCD, like self-harming, just got stressed out, freaking out about things. And we had to evacuate the room once in October because his pen exploded on the desk. And he couldn't handle like the fact that it was a mess, and he just like lost it. We just got all the kids out, and then in the same class, another little boy that always had to go home at 11 o'clock every morning in his other school because that's how long he could hold it together. They have both been in school all year. It was a little rough at the beginning, and they have done really well, and they're in school almost all the time. I forgot to say I'm the founder and the principal, because we couldn't find a principal that could bring it to fruition, so I quit Canadian Geographic after 6 years with 2 weeks' notice, and I'm the principal. I've never officially suspended a child, but we have had children go home because I work with the parents. And the deal is, you chose this, we're on the same team. We're on, I'm kind of a tough love grandma sometimes, but it's like, I call the parents, this is what's happening with so-and-so on this day. I feel like if we keep pushing it, we're gonna set them up and it's just gonna get worse. What do we think? Do we think you should go home for the day? Do you think you wanna come in here? And that's how we roll. Okay, see, you shouldn't have asked. Because I can't stop talking when I talk about the kids.
Thank you very much.
Deputy Mayor.
So your intent would be to come here to, and if I'm hearing correctly, give a different kind of education for kids. But in doing that, you would also bolster and support the current school programs. Would you be inclined to agree?
We would love to do that. It's their choice. Like I said, Wolf Creek School Division has come. I will not name names, but I'll tell you 2 of the current trustees on the public school board here know about us and are super excited and keep saying hopefully there will be enough change within our division that we can work with you. Public schools, charter schools are intended to be models. So the day that either Red Deer Catholic or Wild Rose said, hey, we would love to do some stuff with you, we'd be going, that's great. In some ways, we take some of the burden off because a lot of the kids that they really struggle with do really well with us because we're very hands-on, on the land, interactive learning for kids that are not great at sitting still. That said, we have kids that are very academic that also do really well. So I actually had to write a letter to the editor of the paper in Drayton because there was some misinformation that was being given at some schools about public charter schools. Such as, oh, they don't follow the Alberta Ed curriculum. Yeah, because the Minister of Education gives you money and says, have a good time. So obviously, we deliver the curriculum. There was the information, well, you don't have certificated teachers. Absolutely. We have people who have left other divisions because it's not only kids it doesn't work for, that have come to work for us. In the end, we're here about the kids. We're not in competition with anybody else. We're not, we are always available to support. We're not gonna push our way in other school divisions either, but if there are, as you heard, it's small, if there are families, that they know their kids are either not gonna be successful or they're just gonna drop out because it's just not working for them, or just because they like it better and it's a choice, then we're good. So one of the things that, a person had indicated is, oh, they're gonna take our money. Well, we made sure we clarified that the money actually doesn't belong to us or you or anybody else. The money belongs to the child and their family. And wherever that child goes to school, that's where their money goes. And people switch back and forth between the Catholic and the public system all the time. So I hope that answers the question. Does that answer your question?
So you don't expect a whole bunch of pushback from the schools here, but more to be in support of them?
Oh, of course there's gonna be pushback. Education's become a business, that's why I left it. I'm too old for that. When money and business became the top priority over children, I was done. So that's why I've never been smart enough to take the good paying jobs, so here I am.
Thank you.
Councillor Stocker.
Yes, I was just wondering, Charlene, and maybe this is addressed to Tegan, is the point person here in Rocky you would expect to be yourself, or?
Okay, so I should give the structure. So we have a 6-member board? Yeah. Yeah, so we have a 6-member board. Tegan is one of the ones from down here. One of our board members is from Bochise. One's from Alexis, 2 are from Drayton, and one's from somewhere else. Sorry, don't tell them I couldn't remember off the top of my head where they live. I know them all well. Our superintendent is Ron Taylor. He actually left his job as the Director of Indigenous and Northern Education with Alberta Education to become our superintendent. Yeah, I was telling Tegan I was happy when we met with the ministry last Friday because we've been approved to open campuses anywhere in the province because of our success in filling that void. And it was great to hear somebody who left that kind of a job to say this is a career thing that comes along once in a lifetime. So he's our superintendent, so he'll be our superintendent no matter how many campuses we start. I have to tell you, Lethbridge wants us to start one, and we're not convinced that that's necessarily us. Stony Plain also is looking to us. But what we would do is we would hire, obviously, staff, so there'd be a principal, staff here. Tegan didn't say this, but she's almost finished her education degree. So I'm telling her, this is your community, and she does want to come home, so I would say she would be, she'll definitely be one of the staff members here, and we'll hire the people who want to be in Rocky Mountain House, who are in Rocky Mountain House, who want to be part of the school. So our superintendent would still be the point person as superintendent. Our board is still our board, but like I said, we've got people here. Tegan will have to step down from the board, obviously, when she goes to work at the school, and then we would have another board member from here. But we don't know, we can't staff something that hasn't been opened yet. But thank goodness we have a year to set this one up instead of 8 weeks.
Okay. Thank you. Anything further from anyone? Am I missing anyone? No? Okay, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in and explaining what you're doing today for us. I wish you the best of luck. Please never feel bad about showing emotion. It shows that you care about what you're doing. And I meet enough people that don't, so when I meet someone who does, it's quite refreshing, so thank you. So, thank you very much for coming, and good luck with your endeavor. Did you have an ask of us, other than a letter of support?
Letter of support is all, we would really appreciate it. We'll put it with our package that we submit to the ministry.
Okay, then. Okay, well, thank you very much. Have a good day.
That was way more than 10 minutes.
No, that's okay. Sometimes we need to know what's going on. Next is 5.1, the adoption of the regular council minutes from July 21st. Is there any additions or deletions?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt those minutes as presented.
Thank you.
As presented.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, and that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is, new business is 8 point, did I miss anything there? No. 8.1, the MGA changes from Bill 28. Oh, that's what I skipped over. I apologize. I knew there was something. The delegation business, 6.1. Thank you. Their ask was just for a letter of support. Does anybody have a issue with a letter of support? Could we ask administration to provide that? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion then? Councillor Sinclair.
I'd like to make the motion that we request a letter of support from administration in supporting the Roots of Resilience Charter School.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. No old business, no new business. Now the MGA changes from Bill 28. Mr. Cross.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So the province passed Bill 28 and had some matters within Bill 28 that affect the municipal government. Basically, the use of natural person powers, substantial information requests from council, and council code of conduct. So regarding to council code of conduct, the province is drafting regulations for that right now. So that'll be reviewed once those regulations are passed by the province. So the two items in this report for council's consideration, one is the natural person powers. So in Bill 28, which changed the MGA, they established that a CAO must report when they use natural person powers, but they also listed some exceptions where it isn't required to report. So those exceptions is when a matter is approved by bylaw or resolution of council. So that would include every budget and so forth. Personnel matter, routine operational matter, emergency response, or seeking a legal opinion on behalf of the municipality. So we reviewed this with the current CAO bylaw, and there's nothing in there that conflicts with the CAO bylaw. But it's not explicitly written into the CAO bylaw either. So in the CAO bylaw, it does say the first thing the CAO has to do is follow the MGA, so it's already in place. So it's just a question to council if they want to make the CAO bylaw more just a comprehensive document, so a council or a citizen doesn't have to go back and forth. We could amend the CAO bylaw if council wishes and put this portion of the MGA in. But that would be just for convenience, because it still applies through the MGA to the CAO. And the second one is the duty to provide information to council. And it lists quite a few criteria. If it's a substantial request, the CAO can ask council for approval because of the cost or time involved with substantial request. So currently, in our procedural bylaw, we do have administrative inquiries, which pretty much follows what the MGA says now with this new Bill 28. If an administrative inquiry is substantial under a procedural bylaw, the CAO can ask for a resolution of council, and also bring back a report if it's going to cost money for council to consider that substantial request. So there's no conflicting things in the procedural bylaw to the changes of the MGA. But the procedural bylaw obviously isn't as comprehensive as what's in the MGA. So it'd be up to council if you want to amend the procedural bylaw to insert this portion of the MGA in, so it's all in one document again, or just be satisfied knowing that it's also in the MGA and that we would refer to it if we need to. So I leave it to council for discussion.
I mean, I feel that our administration is busy enough without putting stuff that we're already covering back in there, so I'm comfortable with leaving it the way it is, but how does everybody else feel, please? Councillor Shipple?
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I understand what you're saying. I do think that it should be revamped and made sure that we have it according to the Municipal Government Act. Rather than having stuff covered in two different areas, everything should be covered in one bylaw. So I know that our administration is busy. These are just small changes to the procedural bylaw and to the CAO bylaw. So I think we make the changes according to the Municipal Government Act to ensure that we have continuity between all of our procedural documents. So I would, I appreciate what you said. I guess where I'm at is I would like to see us look at updating those two documents according to the Municipal Government Act to ensure that we have that continuity and there's no confusion anywhere.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Musker?
Thank you, Mayor. With all due respect to Councillor Chappelle, I feel it's an unnecessary duplication as well. And so we're already doing these things through our bylaws. It's just, it would just be wording in there. And so I would be in agreement with Mayor Boniface on this one, that we leave things as they are.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else, please? Well, no one wishes to come. Councillor Shipple?
Well, I'll throw it on the floor, then I'll make the motion that we had, and if the motion fails, so be it, that we change our bylaws and bring them up to date so that they are consistent with the Municipal Government Act to make the relative changes in both the procedural bylaw and the CAO bylaw to reflect those changes.
Okay. Motion is on the table. Councillor Stalker?
It occurred to me that we may understand where all the intricacies are found, but if we do make, and I support the motion, if we do make the clarification and put it in one place for the public, I think it makes it a lot easier than them going back and forth trying to find it in the MGA at 500 and some sections or whatever's in that, and I think it just makes it easier for the public.
Good point. Thank you. Anything further from anyone else? So the motion on the table is to facilitate the change. So all in favor? All opposed? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is 8.2, which is financial reporting update.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor,
Good morning.
members of council. I'm here today to present a high-level view of the operating and capital activities with variances to budget to June 30th, 2026. If I can direct your attention to the Statement of Operations document, I'll start there. The Statement of Operations to June 30th, 2026 results in a net excess of revenues over expenses of $492,102 after the reserve transfers and debt repayment. Overall, revenues for the period are at 51% of the total budget. Net taxation. Net taxation, sorry, lost it, here we go, my apologies. Property taxes were, notices were issued in May, and the payment deadline was July 31st. Our taxes are earned evenly throughout the year, and at June 30th are at 53%. Recreation sales and fees are at 69% of budget due to higher than expected season passes and drop-in fees. Permits and licenses are at 66% due to higher than expected building permit revenues. We have issued 72 permits valued at $6.8 million to June 30th. General rentals and leases are at 67% of budget due to unbudgeted rent for the medical building. We budgeted the revenue to the end of February, but we've leased the building to the end of May. All other revenues are on target or close to target. Expenses, our expenses are slightly below budget at 47%, with administration costs being higher in the period due to the timing of various software licenses that were prepaid in 2025, replacement of out-of-date computer equipment, and the 2025 year-end audit fee. Our utility expenses are are slightly lower than budget due to the delay in the startup of our wastewater treatment plant, which was budgeted for March 1, and we're currently expecting a late summer commission. Our parks is under budget at 41%, as work for this team is concentrated during the summer months. All other remaining departments are on target. Before I move into capital, are there any questions on our operating?
Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Shipple, please.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. Just one, and that's to do with taxation. We are at 53%. Do you have any idea what percentage of our tax roll is paid on a monthly basis with the automatic tax payment plan versus how many we pay on a deadline date? Do we have the majority of people, or do you know what the percentage would be?
Thank you for the question, Councillor. I have a figure in my head on the monthly amount that we get, or we bill for, is approximately $450,000 would be paid monthly, with the balance being paid on an annual basis.
At 450,000, what would that work out to a percentage?
Sorry, Councillor, please repeat your question.
At
I'm sorry.
450,000, what is the percentage of the, would that be?
Close to 50%, we figure.
Do we ever do a drive to try to get more on the monthly plan?
Yes, staff do work hard for people coming to the counter and over the phone to sign them up for the tip payments, yes.
Councillor Stocker.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Boniface. I had a question in relation to the expenses. There was a number of indications of mainly higher staffing costs, and I was trying to envision, it was in the Recreation and Parks area on that document, if that makes sense, the breakdown. And there was a higher staffing costs in mainly 39,000 and then another 50 or 32,000 in parks, one in Recreation and Parks. I was wondering, are we offering more programs that, like it said that there's more people attending. I was just wondering how those two relate.
Thank you for the question, Councillor. Yes, when it comes to recreation, we definitely have a correlation in the higher staffing costs to provide those recreation activities to offset the demand. So the higher cost for staffing is offset at least for the most part, in terms of the revenues that we receive, the additional revenues. Regarding the, you might have, you suggested some other departments where I indicated that there were higher staffing costs. Where we've got a smaller department that is primarily made up of salaries and wages, that'll be the variance that'll likely, stick out versus some of the other larger departments where they've got other, budgets and, consulting fees or such that would minimize the variance. Can I add any clarification?
No, thank you for that. That clarifies that. I did wonder over on the transportation aspect there, it went higher power costs. Is that like electrical power? There was $39,000. Is that just cost of power going up?
Thank you for the question, Councillor. Councillor is referring to an explanation in the year-over-year variance, and I apologize, I did not bring this document to your attention. So on the variance analysis document, I've provided the major variances for the current period, as well as the year-over-year variances compared to June 30th, 2025. And Councillor Stalker is referring to higher power costs as a reason for the additional costs in transportation of $39,000. And at this point, yes, I would presume that that is the reason for the variance.
Thank you. I just, I mean, everything's going up, but it's going up. There isn't any question about that. Thank you.
Any further questions? No. Well then, thank you very much.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I was just going to go briefly onto the capital.
Oh,
if
yes,
that's all
if you
right.
would, please. I'm sorry.
That's okay. The capital statement, so this document is broken down into funding and expenses. The top half of the document provides a breakdown of how how the general projects are being funded. And grant revenues and transfers from reserve are the primary sources of funding for our $11.5 million capital budget. To date, to June 30th, 2026, we've spent $2.5 million, or 22% of that budget. And the section below that summarizes the projects by area. The biggest spending still comes from our wastewater treatment plant, which again is slated to be commissioned by the end of the summer. Other spending has been our runway sweeper at $416,000, a replacement tractor at $118,000, our Riverview development plan at $79,000, and a replacement of our ERP financial software at $90,000. In the detailed project listing that I've also provided, we've made some notes on the various status of each project, and where approximately the timing of those projects are. Some are labeled completed, some are in progress. I'd be happy to take any questions on those right now.
Anyone have any questions? Looks like not.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Counselor.
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the report as for information.
Thank you. Any further questions? All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next item is correspondence for action. The first one is 9.1, the Cape Fall General Meeting. Mr. Kraus,
Sure,
please.
sorry. I was away last week, so I'm a little bit behind here, but this is the invite to the Cape General Meeting on November 18th, 2026, for any council member that wants to attend.
We've certainly had the talk about CAPE enough. Councillor Sinclair, you serve on this, and from your last meeting, you seemed quite pumped with what they were bringing forward. Is this something that you would like to attend?
Yeah, I believe I'm probably already included on that, so I think, I mean, if not, we'll find out, but yeah, definitely would like to be a part of it. I'd like to encourage my fellow councilors and yourself, Mayor, to attend some of if you're able to attend some of these meetings. I think it would be great to get more firsthand experience with them and what they're moving forward with. I think there's a lot of progress that's going on that I think people need to learn about.
Thank you. Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. There is a note on this correspondence for action saying that the budget meeting is scheduled for that day, and I think it's more important that we attend that as council than the CAPE AGM. So I'm going to make a motion on this one. Be it resolved that council accept the CAPE 2026 Fall General Meeting as information.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is correspondence for information purposes. Is there any questions or concerns with the letters? Seeing none, could I get a motion to accept for information purposes, please? Deputy Mayor.
Can I make a motion to accept for information purposes correspondence?
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Next is the mayor and councilor reports. It was actually a fairly slow month for myself. Can't really think of anything that I did that you weren't all there, so. Yourselves, please, go ahead. If you have anything, Councillor Shipple.
Thank you. I as well had a slow month, Mr. Mayor. We did have a meeting with Minister Nixon and Minister Boychenko, which we all attended, which was great for around tourism in our area. And then we did the housing needs assessment one day to look at housing within our community. So relatively, I've been gone, so that's basically the only two things that I attended. So August is August.
Yeah. Councillor Stalker.
Thank you, Mayor Bonifest. We did coffee with the councillor, and it was, I think, relatively well attended. There was some interesting discussion, a question about housing, which is exactly what this council has been focusing on. So it was great to talk about what we're trying to do in the northwest corner and some of the housing type of things we're looking at. This person was looking at housing kind of in the age 55 range, where they can just pull up stakes and leave. They're now in a retirement mode and want to be able to find that housing. So I think we're headed in the right direction. That was certainly great. Also talked about the housing study that's out right now with the folks that came there. There was some concern about pavement and actually not our pavement. So we're in great shape. The concern was about Volker Stevens, I think is a company, and over by the intersection where the wheel alignment is, that their pavement isn't up to snuff. So I don't know if administration just gives them a call and said, hey, get out and do what you need to. So that was one of the concerns arising there. Some stuff that was more aligned with the folks at not economic development, but with Michelle and her crew over there for the development there around bringing the seniors, having all the seniors things that are happening, like each week on Tuesday there's this, on Wednesday that, and they wanted to align that. So I will talk with Michelle over at the Commerce, I want to say.
Chamber of Commerce?
Chamber of Commerce, thank you very much. There was additionally some concerns in relation to some bylaw infractions that were brought forward, and we will make sure that administration, I think, is up and already handling those, so I think we're in great shape. So, very productive, and I welcome the public to reach out to us. I think it is a very valuable way to connect with the public.
Good, thank you. Councillor Misko.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. Just a few things. I was part of the housing needs assessment here with the rest of council and Minister of Tourism meeting. I attended a virtual session on the Alberta Passenger Rail Master Plan. Just for information's sake, it was an evening on the 23rd. Just interesting that the province is moving forward in this. It's a long-term vision, up to 60 years out. So Rocky Mountain House, interestingly enough, is in that plan, but at the 60-year mark, so pretty sure none of us here will see it. But anyways, that was interesting. I attended the Tai Lung Bridge unveiling with some of you. It was great to be there. I just want to mention that there's been questions from the public of why wasn't this advertised? They would have liked to have been a part of it. I just want to state that according to Minister Nixon's office, the family asked that it be a low-key event, so it was just by invitation only. Councillor Boniface and I attended the Summer Splash Charity Barbecue event. Along with some of you, we were in the dunk tank, and I'm sure she would like to say more about that.
Councillor Boniface.
Actually, no, I wouldn't like to say more about that. That was, things got pretty heated in there on throwing that ball, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, we caused some sibling rivalry from kids and stuff that helped participation go up. So it was a lot of fun. And thank you for not dunking me too many times. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight for me for the month. Also, this housing needs assessment and information that's been happening. So I've had a fairly busy month with all the housing information, but and all very good and well attended. However, like when you're thinking, okay, maybe in total we had 100 residents between Caroline and Rocky participating in the housing studies information. It's not too late to get involved, and just click on our website, Town of Rocky Mountain House, and you'll see a little section right beside notices. The housing needs assessment is there, so please follow that link and scroll down to the bottom of the page, and it says housing survey now live. Please participate with that and get input on that. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The first part of my counselor support is going to be more of a confession. When you guys were in the dunk tank, I tried to hire our U15 AA team to go down and participate. Luckily for you, Ken, they were competing for a gold medal while you were in the dunk tank. I'm sure I could have got some money together to pay them. And you know, and the other thing I got to do last week is FCSS invited me to participate in some of the programming they do. So I went down Thursday to Twin Lakes to see firsthand what some of the programming is what they call Boys Unleashed. They had 27 kids come down, had an opportunity to learn firsthand about boat safety, animal safety, do some creative problem solving. The kids had to build their own boats, and I had to refrain from doing it for them and just stand and watch. And you haven't lived until you've had 17 kids try to push you off a dock. Just so you know, you only have to push 2 or 3 back before they stop. But it was an awesome experience to see, firsthand what some of our local groups are doing, and it was well attended. So that was probably the highlight of my month.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Stalker.
I did remember here, as I was looking at my notes, there was concern expressed at coffee with the councillor about the format that we've now adopted here as opposed to a written format. And I expressed my belief that this is actually a far better engagement level for the public, the way we're doing our reports now, and provides more information, and also I think allows the public to realize that we are out there and able to, or want to be engaged with them, where a written report on the back page of the minutes, I don't think was serving us as well. I did mention to the gentleman that brought it up that we were trying this for, I think we had agreed 6 months to try it. And certainly I hope the public are seeing the involvement of council as opposed to trying to look for it on the last page of the agenda.
Thank you. Anything further? Then may I get a motion to accept the mayor's report as given? Councillor Shipple.
Also make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
That we would accept all the mayor and council reports as information.
Perfect. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is our action list. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Going through the open items, so the first one is to provide council with more information on benefits and compensation, and that has been sent to council. The second one is the municipal comparisons, and we're bringing back that on August 18th. I'm not sure of the status of this. I'm assuming Councillor Stalker has forwarded the exact page he's looking for the comparisons. If I could ask of that, so Ms. Quinlan can review.
I would probably prefer to meet with Betty and just sit down for maybe 10 minutes if that's possible, just to say kind of this is what I was hoping to bring to council. So if that's possible.
Yep.
Excellent, thank you.
The multiplex, the RFP, that has been released and is currently out there. And the final one is the advertise for the public hearing for the road closure, which is happening to come back to council August 18th for the public hearing.
Great. Thank you very much. Could I get a motion, please, to accept? Councillor?
I'd like to make a motion to accept
Action list.
action list as for information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next is administrative inquiries. Are there any today, please? None. Thank you. Notices of motion? None. Before we go into closed session then, I'll call a short 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and go into closed session. Thank you. Thank you. We're back. May I have a motion to go into closed session, please? Counselor Soccer.
I move that we move into closed session.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Well, we're back. We have a few motions to make after our closed session. Councillor Stockton.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion regarding item 15.2, be it resolved that council postpones the appointment of the auditor for the town of Rocky Mountain House to the August 18th, 2026 council meeting.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Councillor Musker. Oh, I'm sorry, 15.3. Go ahead, Councillor Sinclair.
I'll make the motion on item 15.3 that Mayor Boniface will relieve Councillor Boniface on the duties of the Rocky Seniors Housing Council until the October organizational meeting.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we accept the CAO dialogue for information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried.